Welcome back to Comics, the podcast where me and my comics,
Or me.
me and my mom, me and my comics hang out with my mom. Today we're looking at a DC comic first, Batman, half a hero, and he's saying, "You're mad, Two-Face. This is carrying your split personality too far."
Doesn't it look like he's in a play? Like he's
Yes.
like, he's like he's gonna do jazz hands. You're mad, Two-Face.
I know, I couldn't resist when I saw this cover in one of the boxes, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's already taken his split personality too far. Like, dressing that way and devoting your whole life to a duality-themed criminal career, that was when he took it too far. Making this room and half of his thugs be a different theme than the other half is just icing on the cake.
That's twisted.
I think he has to say this, though. I was thinking about it, I'm like, that's such a weird dialogue line, but I guess it's geared towards, like, if you've never read Batman, you're not familiar with Two-Face. You know, everybody's got their first issue, so this is a way to, like, sum up the...
I want to know more about this Spanish guy.
We've got, like, mobster-looking people, and then more, like, Southwest Italian-looking people.
Crazy.
Wouldn't that be funny? He's like, yeah, that's the opposite of mobster, right? Is Italian.
Well, mobsters are Italian.
He's almost a pirate. He's got like a big machete-looking thing. This guy's like a mean Indiana Jones.
That looks like Buddy from the last comic. Got a club.
Also, I think they have to put this word bubble because if he wasn't explaining that this is actually a room that's been bisected and to be thematically like all broken down or very like sparse and then more colorful,
opulent.
It looks like two different timelines or two different scenes.
Two different characters.
It makes it look weird. But you think that Batman's arm intersecting the halfway point would give it the sense that it's all one scene, but the colors kind of mess it all up, and also the stairs. Like, there's steps, and it doesn't line up with this room, which doesn't have the steps, it looks like. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There's, like, 3 steps here.
Well,
but then it's, like,
the
end
carpeted.
of the carpet. I guess these are carpeted steps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe Two-Face is just really into remodeling. He's doing, like, he's got a show on HGTV where this is what it used to be. Now we put carpets and mobsters in it.
Buy it or have it taken away from you.
I like the version of Two-Face we get here.
Yeah.
This is another character just... Like, some characters are just so ripe for interpretation, you know? You can do a lot. I mean, every character in the hands of an artist can have its signature look, but, I mean, it's so easy with a character like this to...
Oh, yeah.
The level of scarring or whatever, or the color even. Sometimes you see him with, like, the purple scarring, or the Christian Bale Batman, where it's just more like his skin. There was like gaps in his skin. I know they're trying to make it more realistic or whatever.
How his one eye is just kind of goes where it wants to.
So his the parole board turned down his request to go to a halfway house. Because I guess that would be an appealing house if your theme was half and half all the time. And they let him have this coin in Arkham Asylum.
You'd think that a cunning supervillain could do some things with a coin.
Well, you'd be right, actually. That's exactly what happens. So he's flipping his coin, and the guards are kind of taunting him in a way. And they're like, what are you doing with that silver dollar? Sitting there with your silver dollar, marked up silver dollar, thinking you're so cool. I do like this one panel that's just like his dark. It's a great way to foreshadow that something bad's about to happen, to just zoom in on that half of his face. He drops the coin. He said, hey, he dropped his coin. Wait a minute, he's gone. And by the time they look up from the coin, he's already gone. So they sound the alarm, and they go searching with the hounds. And it's like Cool Hand Luke or something when he's escaping. And he's like, wait, these tracks are like an hour old. This couldn't be Two-Face. We just saw him in there. How could he have made tire tracks that have already crusted over in the mud? And so they get Batman and Commissioner Gordon on the scene. Meanwhile, Commissioner Gordon alludes to the fact that I think it's like the new mayor or something wants him to retire. He's getting pressured to quit, and he's like, I don't know, maybe I just will quit. Maybe it's not
Fine,
working.
I'll
Batman's
quit.
like, you're so dramatic.
Knock it off.
I'm looking at this coin. I'm not really that worried about your career, old man. But he says, as you can see, it's not a normal coin. Great Scott, they're hypnotized. Gordon can tell just by looking at their stupefied face. Oh, it hypnotizes them by just being flung in the air. And so, yeah, I guess they lost track of time because they were in a trance. So it appeared that he disappeared out of nowhere, but actually he very calmly got up and left.
Packed his
and an
bag,
hour later,
had a snack.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really reveal. I guess maybe he reached through the bars and got the keys because they were stupefied, but it doesn't really depict that part. I like Gordon's hair going in the wind. I also love the idea that Batman gives Gordon a ride home at the end of it. He's like, all right, now that we figured out the coin, do you need to...
Me? You won't take me? I want
Yeah, he's like, we all came together.
Nope.
Sorry, we're going to get paninis. Anyway, a lot of the contemporary versions of Batman really like to have him disappear. Like, he turns around for a moment and Batman's gone. And this one, he's like, yeah, I'll drop you off. And his daughter's there. He's like, I haven't seen much of you since Mom died.
Jesus.
Like, yeah, it was a little...
It was 5 years ago, but they still use that as a time
Knowing
frame.
how little care you take for yourself since Mom died, I thought you could use a home-cooked meal. So that's Barbara Gordon. It was just such a harsh way to... I feel like most people would be like, since Mom's gone or, isn't around anymore or something. I couldn't tell in this panel what the hell this is. It looks like it's got like moss on it or something. It's a secret elevator that Bruce is taking up to his like penthouse or whatever, so it's like a subterranean elevator. But at first I was like, is this like a zoomed out shot of the building itself, like it's some kind of weird modern eco-friendly building or something? But no, it's just a musty old elevator. And when he gets there, Alfred's like, hey, there's somebody here to visit you.
Oh, God.
Act like you didn't just get in this elevator. And it's Lucius Fox. He has some concern about the Wayne Foundation, but Bruce is all mad about it. He says, blast, this is just the sort of thing I wanted to avoid by giving up an active role in the Wayne Foundation's affairs. Bruce Wayne's life was always interfering with my work as the Batman, and it has to stop here and now. So he's like, doing all this stuff to help the community with the Wayne Foundation. He's like, oh, my charitable work's getting in the way of me dressing up like a bat, beating up mentally ill people in the streets. My real passion. So he hires Lucius to he promotes Lucius to head up that stuff. And Lucius is like, well, I wanted your opinion on this thing. He's like, I'm disappointed in you, as he's pouring a drink. He's like, I thought that you would have some backbone and just make some decisions. I guess I was wrong. You come whining to me at the first time. Yeah, he's a real ass. And we get a little thought of I'm so sorry that I had to be a jerk to Lucius, but it's just, I can't focus on that because I'm too busy being Batman. Poor Lucius is shaken. He's visibly, oh God, I thought we were friends. Yeah, alcoholic.
No more paninis for you.
They have to say, they also mention that his drink, he puts it down untouched. He's not actually drinking. He just needs to pretend to be all like a party boy or whatever. Meanwhile, Dick Grayson is in school. He's at Gotham University, and this girl that he's been seeing is acting aloof and disappears in this car and acts like they don't know each other. And he wonders what's going on. Meanwhile, it's all part of the plan. She looks in the rear view. Yep, you're writing down my license plate just as I planned. So he's being lured into some kind of trap.
Oh, great.
So, Bruce doesn't have enough time to work on his charitable endeavors.
And he gets
but he goes on a date. Yeah, he's like...
That's not Bruce, that's... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we cut to Bruce where Vicky Vale and Bruce are downtown, like window shopping and walking around.
Ah.
Until halfway to heaven, and he has the idea, oh wait, Two-Face on his parole wanted to go to a halfway house. Great Scott! And he says, hey, what did I say? Taxi! Vicky, forgive me, but I just remembered I have an important date with my shirt maker tonight.
Oh my God.
He's like the world's greatest detective, and he's prepared. Like the way he's written in contemporary times too, he's got like a contingency plan for every possible outcome. In this version of Batman, he's like got the worst excuses. Like in the middle of the night, he's gotten in a shipment of Moroccan silk.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, lame.
But, Vicky Vale's onto him. She says, Bruce has a date, all right, as the Batman. So she knows what's up. He goes to the halfway house, quickly changes. I love that we get a quick change where, like, his silhouette and suddenly he's in his Batman uniform. But it's like, if it was a movie, if it didn't cut, and he's like, takes him like 25 minutes.
Damn sexy tight pants.
Yeah, he has the same pants as, he's got Moroccan silk yoga pants from Odin's tailor. So, let's see. He sneaks past somebody who he thinks is passed out, but is really communicating with Two-Face and saying, okay, he's entered our trap. Because Two-Face knows. He's dropped some clues.
Yeah.
A halfway house, it's thematic. Of course he'd be there. He's turned this halfway house into a madhouse. I think I skipped a page here. Yep. So Two-Face formed a relationship with this lady while he was in the prison library, and she helped him devise this hypnotic coin escape thing, and I guess helped him hire all the decorators and stuff to make this very thematic, opulent,
Fancy.
rundown halfway house. I feel
like
like I
how
wouldn't
the
be
sharp lines and color here,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to the jagged lines and the plaid. Plaid is bad.
Oh, I didn't even notice that transition. Bad outcome.
Bad outcome.
Maybe it's really the sleeve he catches it with. If he cut it. So
Plaid
yeah,
is
it's settled
bad.
then. The Batman will never leave this building alive. You're telling me if it had come up the other way, you'd be like, oh, well, we went through all the trouble of designing all of this building, but you saw the coin. Let him go.
Yeah.
No.
Does he ever do that?
How could you work with someone like that? It would be so frustrating to be in his
Bat is-
gang. You're
yeah.
like, look, I can put up with all the thematic duality stuff. I don't like painting a line down the middle of my body every day coming into work wearing purple on one side and yellow on the other or whatever you come up with. But when we get ready, we put 6 months into this plan and then you let him go home because the coin came up heads. It's not worth it.
Wouldn't he have a coin he could control, though?
He probably would. You would have to, otherwise it would just be too
yeah.
impractical. So anyway, some guys come at him with guns. The rich guys have guns. The other guys just have melee weapons.
Oh my God.
A broken bottle and a pipe.
Whoa.
It's like, Two-Face, if you really want to defeat Batman, give them all guns.
Yes.
It's like, no, it's not thematic enough. He's so theatrical, Two-Face.
Yeah.
That's goofy. So he jumps over the bullet, and he actually ends up, one of the thugs shoots the other thug's kneecap. And he's disarming them, as Batman does. He's flipping around. He throws a chair into the chandelier so he can work in the darkness and escape. But as he's walking down this bisected little hallway, he almost gets cut in half by a guillotine wall. It's like a big steel dividing wall. I was really surprised by this huge 3-page Atari glossy ad. It's weird to see the glossy paper in one of these comics, because this is I think this is another 86 or something. No, 1982.
Is this Space
Atari.
Invaders or?
I think so. They spared no expense. Yeah, Asteroids, Missile Command, Pinball.
Asteroids was fun.
I like Missile Command myself.
I'm not good at aiming.
I like Pong too.
I don't even fill out one circle on my card for aiming.
Yeah. Good thing you're tough.
That's all I have.
Maximum
All with
durability.
maximum vulnerability.
Low intelligence. Projectiles.
Slow.
So he jumps out of the way of the falling guillotine. He's about to go in the window when he notices a dead bird.
Whoa.
The bird was fried, so he uses this nail to check that the window's electrified. He says, I could have been stunned or dead.
Whoa.
So he can't
He's a
leave that
smart
way.
boy.
Yeah, but he can't come up with a better excuse than seeing his Moroccan silk guy in the middle of the night. He just came in. The ship just arrived. from
Maybe he
the
likes
house.
silk.
I guess. Let's see. So finally he confronts Two-Face here. And
Oh, that's just a nice panel.
yeah, the lighting, that's cool. It's lighting up his evil side, of course.
Yeah.
That side smokes. The other one just does the nicotine patch. And he goes to handcuff him, but it's really that girl that's in love with Two-Face from the library, the prison library. And so the real Two-Face says, haha, you're on the other side of this glass wall, and you're about to get attacked by my girlfriend. Two-Face gets a girlfriend in prison. He's like, would you beat up Batman for me? He's really mean. I plan all these two-sided themed capers, and he comes and beats me up every time. It's like, I'll beat him up for you.
I got it.
And he's like, oh, don't mind this nerve gas. She's got nose plugs, so she's immune. And
She doesn't breathe
How
out of her
long-
mouth.
Yeah, you better not. He says, how can you long can you last? 2 minutes? 3? The exact count is 4 minutes, 18 seconds. They have to make, even when he gets passed out or whatever, they had to make Batman he's like really on the edge of superhuman capabilities. He's such a badass. I like this drawing of Two-Face's face. I like how maniacal his regular eye looks. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Well, it just goes to show you, that, something bad happened to him, and then it kind of triggered the evil that was already in him.
he just needed any excuse.
Yeah,
He would have turned out bad eventually. It was just the
Eventually.
chemical accident made it the worst in him come out. Gordon turns in his badge.
What?
He
That
says,
was random.
why force my resignation? Remember, he was getting pressure. He alluded to that earlier in the issue. Now that you've won your campaign for mayor, why you really want me to resign? He's like, I'm mayor, Gordon. As far as you're concerned, that's reason enough.
What a jerk.
I know, they make him look really swarthy there.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, or not meanwhile, I guess after Gordon leaves, Rupert Thorne's representative here, he's an organized crime boss, is talking with the mayor, so that's why they're getting rid of Gordon, is there installing mafia like commissioner. He's going to be the new
Nice.
commissioner. And we get a little mini story with Catwoman in it. I love this font.
Yeah.
So a really long exposition says that she's investigating trains that are disappearing between Gotham and Chicago. They just and the passengers have no memory of what's happening, and what they do remember they report as like ghosts and stuff.
I like
These
the drawing
guys-
style.
I know, I really like this art. I think this art might even I prefer it to the main story's art. I really like this character design for Catwoman. Of all the different costumes, I like this mask anyway. I like the small ears.
Small
and I
ears,
like the like over the nose kind of. But it also comes down around the head. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a cool
She
look.
kind of has a cowl, too.
It kind of gives me more of the 30s vibe or something, or like an early Catwoman vibe. I love the action. It's kind of like this weird circular panel where she's escaping the thugs that were carrying her. They thought she was unconscious, and she like topples them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Instead of breaking it up into panels, it's kind of an interesting way of doing it. It's cool when they make her eyes all white too. It gives her that otherworldly look. But the main villain subdues her with her own cat o' nine tails and explains his whole plan. It turns out this guy's dad was a Nazi spy, and he found out the formula of the hydrogen bomb, and he inscribed it on the face of a diamond, and he was smuggling it back to Nazi Germany. But on the he put it on the collar of a beautiful Persian cat to just add another layer. Like, he couldn't have just had a diamond and be like, "Yeah, I'm a diamond dealer. I'm going over to Europe." He's like, "No, it's my Persian cat's diamond. It's got the hydrogen bomb formula inscribed on it, just for another layer of deniability."
That's like Men
I
in
guess.
Black. With that
With
whole...
the little galaxy and the exactly. That's probably where they got the idea. He was picked up by the FBI outside the pet shop, but he was clean, so they released him. Unfortunately, though, somebody was on his tail, and so somebody knew that he had the hydrogen bomb formula, so they took the cat, and in a confrontation on the train, his dad got killed, and then the Nazis lost the war. The man who killed him was Selena Kyle's father.
Ah.
Yeah, so he's got a vendetta, and he's like, "I've devoted my whole life to avenging my father," and that's the reason the trains disappeared, is he knows that this diamond ended up somewhere on the train lost, and he got hired by the Gotham Police Department and made sure that he was on this case so he could, when people were all nerve gassed or whatever and knocked out, he could get on the train and look for that diamond. It seems like you could have found it without figuring out how to make trains disappear. And they even have a whole diagram like, but she's like, you didn't tell me how'd you did that. Please tell me how you made the trains disappear. And just like a classic villain, he's like, "Okay, I'll tell you every part of my plan and how we got here." It's like, "See, I dug a tunnel, and that's a holograph train. So the holograph train comes out of the tunnel. The real train's diverted underground." And she's like, "Oh, that's why I didn't strangle, because the last issue, I think the cliffhanger was she was in a noose or something. So that's why I didn't strangle. The noose was a holograph too." Yeah, I don't know. And they use holograph and hologram interchangeably at this point, where nowadays I think a holograph, we think of a holographic surface where it has some kind of illusionary or light thing, whereas a hologram is something projected that you interact with, or can be three-dimensional or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I love the reflection in his sunglasses. He looks so evil. So he found the diamond. I also like these little stress lines with the red around the little lightning bolts. That's a cool way to show
Nazi lines?
Yeah, basically, just stack them on each other. So he's going to be the big, he's going to usher in the Fourth Reich with his diamond.
Yes.
Except he's not. So he's going to run over Catwoman.
No, he's not.
Oh, she's like, "You're not the only one that has holographic images." So she was able to rig his own system to project her on the tracks. Meanwhile, she got on the train, and she's going to whoop his ass.
Yeah.
So
The only good Nazi's a smushed Nazi.
Oh, and what's going to happen is the trains are going to intersect, but she uses her lasso, her cat o' nine tails thing, to divert one of the trains. He, thinking the trains are going to collide, jumps off, only to jump into the path of the diverted train and kills it. So it's like, she doesn't have to kill him. He kills himself by making a bad choice. The end.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so it left us on a cliffhanger there with Batman.
Yeah, and it resolved the cliffhanger for Catwoman. I wonder if they intentionally pace it as an either-or thing, month to month.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got for Marvel this
All right, another part of my haul.
Art Attack.
Art Attack. It's the only
Better than a fart attack.
Well, you would think.
Not much better.
You would think.
You would think, but no.
We'll learn more about that.
He's having a fart attack, I think.
I know, that's why I picked it.
These crazy arrows.
This whole idea is insane.
I think I've seen the Headmen in a Hulk comic or something like that. I know that they've existed for a while, but it's funny to see them pop up in a newer 90s comic, because we've been looking at so many 80s and 70s comics.
Mm-hmm. This is...
Don't forget that special surprise romance.
Special. And they've got you looking in this direction. But is that what they're talking about? So
Who is that? Is that Aunt May's boyfriend?
that is okay. So stop it, Mr. Lumpkin.
Oh,
You're
Willie
cute.
Lumpkin! I know Willie
Yeah.
Lumpkin. He's the mailman.
He's the mailman for.
the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
but
probably
then,
other people in New York.
well, yeah, and he got moved to another route. So right now he is mailman for May Parker, and he's romantically.
Do you remember when she dated Dr. Octopus?
That was
crazy.
weird. Yeah, that was weird. But anyway, so they're all
You
laughing
think the vulture
hysterically,
was jealous?
and Peter's over here burping, and he's wiggling his ears for him. He can wiggle them really fast. They're like, faster, faster, Mr. Lumpkin.
Oh my god.
And Aunt May's like, oh, Willie, you're such a guard. Peter's, it's like, what's going on? And so they all got invitation. He's having some major intestinal.
A third helping of his lasagna.
Yeah, Willie's lasagna. And I was thinking,
He's got that Animal Man mullet going.
are they going to portray Willie? Did Willie do something in his lasagna?
Is he going to start going off about, like, existentialism now? Now that he's got that fancy-ass mullet?
And so they're on their way to an art exhibit that Willie got tickets to. And in this incarnation, this is where Peter and MJ are married. This is cousin, is there Kate? Cousin Kitty? Nah, Christy. Cousin Christy, Aunt May and Willie. And they're all going to Alicia from also Fantastic Four.
Alicia
The sculptress.
Masters? Something like that?
Who is married to Johnny Storm.
Right.
But in this book,
used to be the Thing's girlfriend, and he stole his girlfriend.
in this book, she isn't really Alicia. She is what's her name?
Elijah,
Yes.
right? The scroll.
Yes.
That's right.
So, and anyway, and Johnny knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and he knows that, well, everybody knows who Johnny
It
Storm
must suck.
is.
They all lived together in that big building, and like he stole the Thing's girlfriend, and he's got to like be on a team with him all the time, and like.
Yeah, I remember when she did that sculpture of him in one of the books. So anyway, they're at this
She's
party.
like, I don't have to date a big rock monster. I can date a regular human.
Yeah, but
I'm so sorry, but I gotta date the regular human. I'm sorry.
But
Things
Ben
like, I
is
get
such
it.
a
I get
better
it. I'm a
person than Johnny, I
know.
think.
He's a much more likable character.
So they're looking at, oh, how amazing. She's blind and she can
So
do
that
all
explains why there's a darn Daredevil. I was like, is that just an Easter egg for us to find? The little Daredevil
No.
sculpture?
There's a thing, there's
That looks like the puppet master, her father. This could be Vision or someone.
that looks like
I bet that's a Hulk. That's gotta be a Hulk.
Who flies like that?
Who
But
knows?
as you see, they're going to be hobnobbing. I mean, people are like, oh, look, there she is with that dreamboat husband of hers. And Peter's like, oh, spare me, MJ. Next thing, you'll be starting your own chapter of the Human Torch fan club. And then they turn because, oh, it's the Submariner.
Wow.
So
He's got
everybody-
some very arched eyebrows.
I know,
Such
he's
a
intense.
Flat haircut.
And look at May. Even Willie. Willie, I wonder why he's there. And Aunt May is just gobsmacked. And she's like, when I was a girl, I thought he was just the most handsome.
Really?
Yeah. And Willie's like, look at him. Hard to believe he's 10 years older than I am.
That's hilarious.
So they bring out everybody. And he's like, I wonder why he's there. And they greet Alicia and Johnny and stuff. And then she shows him the statue she made of him.
Aw.
So, and he's like, oh, it's going to look spectacular in my collection. And
He's got a collection of statues of himself.
everything.
He would.
He would. About anybody, he would. And Aunt May is she just can't get over it. Not bad, Mrs. Oh, because when he goes to leave, he makes eye contact with Aunt May. She just can barely handle it. And Peter and the Torch, they have to have their little banter of who's cooler, who's better.
Who's got the longer mullet?
Yeah, he looks at him. I don't remember inviting Spider-Man. And then and don't you just fade into the woodwork when old Webhead isn't around for you to take pictures of?
They speak so openly about his identity.
I know. And then
Lily's
they both
like,
make
awkward.
yeah, they both make comments about each other's wives because the Torch is here because of his wife, and it's like, oh, you're fancy artist's wife.
Without your wife's coattails to ride. Like, well, he is a famous superhero that can burst into flames and fly. I mean, her sculptures are nice, but
But, and then outside you have this nondescript
van.
olive-colored van.
The poor headmen are so sketchy. To the van!
These guys are something else.
The way that the little orb has its own arms and hands to hold up
To
that
hold
guy's
up,
head. That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. He's all goopy.
Well, his powers. He was coming up with a shrinking ray before. What's his name? The quantum dude.
Ant-Man?
The professor.
Oh, Pym?
Pym, yeah. Like right same kind of timeline, but his shrunk his bones.
Oh, God. I was going to say, does it just give you jowls? He invented the jowls,
Quantum
right?
jowls.
Pym's like,
On and on.
I can become an Ant-Man. What did your invention do?
Shrunk my bones.
I'm very jowly. Oh, well, I saw a van out on the street. If you want to go hang out in there, it might be best if we aren't seen together.
So he has a device. The whole plan. There's a plan. See, previously, what's this guy's name?
Dr. Morgan?
No, Mr. Head here. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Top of your head, huh? Well, anyway, does he want to steal
He wants
Peter's
to steal
body?
Peter's body to put his head on. Because what happened was he was trying to steal She-Hulk's body. Which is bizarre. Why would he want She-Hulk's body and not Hulk's?
Well, I'm trying to be tolerant. It's his choice. It's just what he imagines he would look like in his ideal form.
So they failed at that, and now they're going to get Spider-Man's body.
He's like, who has the same physique as She-Hulk? I know, Spider-Man. Stupid, sexy Spider-Man.
Super sexy Spider-Man. And then he goes,
Oh, it's so creepy. You can't see his eyes or his teeth. It's just like a saggy flesh
yes,
mask. Ugh.
yes. And so he has a device that locates Peter Parker. And so they're inching closer and inching closer. And then they're like, before the evening's out, Spider-Man will be ours. And then we have this other character who I did not recognize.
I thought that was him.
I
He
know.
just put on a jacket.
Because of that. Yes, that's what I thought too. But I guess I can spoil it. Because I went and I looked up because I was like, well, who's this guy? This happens to be from
Is
the
that
X-Men.
Oh, from the X-Men.
Scott.
What?
Yes.
Scott Summers?
Who's
Cyclops?
Cyclops, I believe. Who is
What about his eyes?
no,
You
I'm
think of
confused.
Iceman? Well, we'll figure out who it is.
So anyway, he's going and looking for the art gallery as well. Then we cut back to the art gallery, to the party, and MJ's like, hey, you're looking a little rough. He's like, I can't look half as bad as I feel, MJ. So he's getting that, that feeling. You gotta find the bathroom.
Spider-Man's got an acid reflux attack or something.
And then they're overhearing about how people thought that Alicia was bad. Alicia was actually evil because how could she make perfect sculptures of all these evil characters without,
What? You have to be
without
evil
touching
to
them?
depict them?
Well, how could she be touching them all? But
Oh, I see.
she does it through description. People described them. Yeah. Anyway.
I see. I forgot that she was blind almost. That she would have to Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, what if when they get defeated, she could just go up and touch them? They're like, we're going to lock you up in jail, but at first our blind artist is going to do a rendition of your likeness. It's part of your punishment, so sit still.
Sit there. Sit.
Dr. Doom's like, well, just make sure you get the mask right.
So they are noticed by Alicia, and she comes over, and she's like, "Oh, Peter Parker, the photographer. My husband is a great admirer of your work." He's like, "He is?" And then MJ introduces her cousin Christy, and then Peter's like, "Maintain the chit chat without me for a while, will you, babe? I've got to do something about the tango Willie's lasagna is doing in my stomach." It's like,
ooh,
he's got spider senses
for his diarrhea. I'm gonna next time I feel like I'm gonna if I have to tell someone I have diarrhea, I'm just gonna say my spidey senses are tingling. They're tingling. I remember renting this game,
so
Silver
random.
Surfers, for the Nintendo. I remember it just being difficult.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not really familiar with any of these characters. I know Mephisto. Firelord, the Skrull Emperor, I guess.
yeah.
Possessor, and the Reptile.
That guy looks
Generic.
easy to beat.
I
Yeah.
could beat him.
Yeah. And then
Whoa.
we have the glass being broken in, but the Human Torch comes in and he just kind of vaporizes the glass before it falls on anybody.
That's a really cool drawing of his powers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that if this were printed in on glossy, that would be a great opportunity to make some really high contrast,
I'm used to
artwork.
seeing it as a darker red. With this fire blast, that's a cool way to draw it.
It gives him subtlety, which you rarely see with him. He's like
I think
over
it's
the
also
top.
these little blobs, spiky blobs in the middle of the flames that
Yeah.
help give it a cool vibe. Because it's the glass, it's the little energy pockets or whatever, and then it's the outline of the jagged flame. They all work together pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And so Alicia's like, "What is it?" He's like, "Some kind of big dark shape out there." And then you got this guy coming in there. So, "Oh yes, we have not been introduced, have we?"
How can you take
The
him
name is
seriously?
Negan, Dr. Arthur Negan. Though those with a more colloquial bent sometimes call me Gorilla Man. And all he has is
I
like,
think I'll call you Kagan. Is that okay?
all he has is the abilities of a gorilla and his head.
The weaknesses of a human head.
Yeah, oh,
He's smart, right? He's like a
His
scientist.
ego, yeah, but his ego is
The way they draw MJ's hair in this era of Spider-Man is so ornate a lot of time. I
Yeah.
guess more so on the last page. It was like more detailed than Johnny Storm bursting into flame. All the lines and texture. Her hair's so big too.
Yeah, well, the 90s, but yeah.
Everybody had big hair, I guess.
Well,
and mullets.
And
Or widow's
mullets.
peaks. Verging on. Namor had that widow's peak. His isn't quite as steep, but it's there.
So he gets right down to it. He's like, "Where's Spider-Man? Hand him over, and no need to be no trouble." He's smart, and no need to be no trouble.
Yeah.
Come on, guy, you're not.
Yeah. There need be no trouble.
So this really puts you in a quandary because Spider-Man's got to go to the bathroom.
If he didn't already. I mean, look at his face. It wasn't a shard of glass. It was a shard. It was a shard of glass.
Okay, so
It's like, I'm really glad that glass broke right then because it really covered up the sound of me crapping my pants.
so he goes up into the rafters and changes, thankfully. And then the Human Torch has Gorilla Man there.
Yeah, what is this guy's plan? How did he ever hope that he was going to be able to beat the Human Torch?
He
can fly. He shoots fire.
But
got a body
like
of a gorilla.
all goons, he grabs an innocent. And he's like, make one more move, and I'm gonna snap her head.
Jeez.
And I like how they show Peter disappearing up here, and these guys like just reacting to the horror that's going on.
Did you smell that?
There's a theme.
This is more like the spectacular Spider-Man.
And then Ruby Thursday comes in holding, what is this guy's name again? Holding.
That character's name is Ruby Thursday?
Yeah, Ruby Thursday.
Not Tuesday?
I know it. Ruby Thursday, but it looks like him, you know? And what does he say? And Meat Man there comes in, and Spider-Man comes crashing in on the scene. I like how they do his webbing here.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like gives us
Very
some
naughty looking.
Yeah,
Gives it
yeah.
texture.
So anyway, when Ruby Thursday comes in, she makes a hammer out of her.
So she could just it's like Mr. Fantastic. She can kind of just bend it into any
Well, the
form.
orb can create shapes, and she creates this
Weird.
big hammer and just thumps.
Yeah, it
Johnny.
gets really big.
Yeah, and
Oh, there's Melty Guy.
with the gun, and a tranquilizer gun, and these guys are here. Is that Spider-Man, Alicia? And it sure is. I never thought I'd see him this close. She's riding in the car with him all night, and might have been better if you hadn't, Chris. And then Spidey doesn't ace these goons fast. Seeing him may be the last thing you ever do. This artwork is so twisted.
I know.
That's
The headmen are a
the
funky
headmen
group.
are, yeah. You know, they're supposed to be brilliant scientists, but oh my god. So he said, "So you've got some kind of handy dandy spider detector, huh? Sounds like something I should relieve you of before some serious menace gets his hands on it." You mock us, you dare mock us. He's just so reactionary.
I feel like if you looked like that, you would be used to taking
Yeah.
your fair share of criticism.
And Spidey's like, "Oh, I dare all kinds of things, handsome. I dare getting gorilla fleas all over my foot, for instance." And so she comes out with the big hammer and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, nice one, Rubes." And she's like, "He's too fast." So he aims that tranquilizer gun. That's a cool image. He really doesn't he look helpless?
Yeah. Looks like the flames are melting him.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
His hands that's really cool. So anyway, the Human Torch comes in and he melts it or he makes it too hot to hold on to. And then Ruby Thursday throws out these rays, plasma darts, and they avoid those. And he's Torch, heads up. You've let your flame rings. What does he say? You've let your flame rings. Where do we go from there? Too late, Spider-Man. We're free again.
I guess he gets distracted.
Oh,
before he
okay.
can
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
his
yeah,
thought.
yeah. That's right. He had the flame rings going, holding them, and then she does that, and then
It distracts
to avoid
him
him, it
for a
just
moment.
distracts him for a moment. And then he goes, "Too late, Spider-Man." But then he protects Alicia from him because he's right there.
Oh, yikes. He almost breaks the thing's statue.
I know.
He's going to break it. Jeez.
Everything about Ben Grimm is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you mean mine was the only one that got broken?
Bum's
that
luck.
sounds about right. It turns into a propeller. That's funny.
So, come on, Miss Storm. And he goes, "Miss Parker? Mr. Parker, is that you?" I thought. And he goes, "Oh my God, I forgot. Her senses are keen because of being blind." So he pretends to be Peter and gets her to safety and everything. And MJ looks over, Peter, like, what are you doing over there with Alicia?
Uh-oh.
And then Ruby turns on this fan to put the torch out, and but the flaming he's
flies
like,
around
which
it?
one?
Oh.
He's flying so fast that there's duplicates. He is just twisted looking. And he goes, Ruby can handle the torch. Spider-Man seems somehow engaged with that woman. Not using his speed or wall climbing abilities, perhaps. Perhaps if I strike now with this Nero needle.
Ew.
So he looks down. What the heck? He's with my wife.
He's all mad.
And so he comes shooting through and engages with MJ, which Peter. So this
He
has
took his
the.
flame off that hand. You see?
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
It's like a
yeah.
sweater. It's got a little cuff all of a sudden.
It's my fire sweater. It's fire. And so yeah, it keeps up the whole competition between them and stuff.
Oh God.
And then how much further do we stretch the bounds of coincidence tonight?
Hey, we're gonna see who that guy is. I think.
Spider-Man, the Human Torch. But what? Oh brother.
I like that panel of. Oh brother, I like that Spidey sense
Oh yeah.
illustration.
I'm usually the first to sing the praises of my spider sense, but in a situation like this, it doesn't do me a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
With danger signals coming
hard to
in
tell
from
what-
all directions. This is the only cool panel with Gorilla Man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So they keep fighting, and then Christy is in danger. She's going down. And then somebody pulls. Oh, yeah. We do find out who this was because she introduces herself as Christy. And he goes, Kitty? Who?
Oh, is it
Colossus?
Colossus?
And then turn the page, and then he grabs his leg, spins him around. I love this. It's like he spins him so fast his face comes off.
Oh, look at this poor kid's eyes in the ad.
Yeah. And then to toss out the first gorilla of the season. I love how everybody gets hit.
These guys are a little bit of a joke.
Yes. And then you have he wraps them up in the webbing and stuff, and he takes off to change, and then these guys are like, well, we better get out of here. And Peter Parker's over here. Excuse me. MJ and the others are okay. Cops taking care of the bad guys, not going to notice me. So if my GI
go
tract
take
can
a
hold
crap.
out, yes.
A happy ending. Well, we didn't get to see we didn't get to see Colossus transform, I guess, huh?
Right. And when I looked it up, there was a reason why he was there and why he was confused when he heard Kitty. So
I like
there's-
the headmen are so unthreatening that these old people can be on a date and be like, I still had a pretty good time. Even when the
Yes.
supervillains came to attack us, it wasn't that stressful. I knew that it wasn't going to get out of hand.
Can you imagine like being there in a gallery? I mean, these guys just kind of moved out of the way. They didn't go running.
If Doctor Doom shows up, you're not just going to move out of the way. Some shit's going to go down. But if the headmen are like,
True.
Spider-Man's got this. In 20 minutes, we'll all just be eating hors d'oeuvres again. And
Look at
all
that.
right.
That body holding that head. And I can't believe I cannot remember what that guy's name is. But
He looks like Colossus now that you mention it.
yes. And yeah, but I really like the artwork and how they incorporate. They did a lot of really cool graphics
Yeah.
of Human Torch. It's pretty cool. I like the idea of the headmen, but it just seems like they don't really flesh them out because
It's
When I
almost like
was-
they're like a B movie kind of thing.
Yes,
like
when I was-
homage to like head switching science fiction kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's a trope that pops up in those like 50s drive-in movie, B movie kind of things.
yeah. So that was my comic. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, the whole diarrhea undertones.
I know. That was an interesting choice to give him like another layer of conflict is happening in his gastrointestinal tract. That was the most suspenseful part for me.
I made it relatable. My spidey senses are tingling right now. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I thought it was
too.
a good one.
Art attack or shard attack?
Shard attack.
Well, if you enjoyed this, like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
You like the shark attack?
She did.
Oh, you got a low